prior to Supermums, I was a stay-at-home mom for a number of years with variations in my career, primarily because my spouse is a foreign service officer for the U.S. government, and that required us to move all around the world, some beautiful spots, but it took me out of my work or professional life. Before we were foreign service, I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car in their rental division and eventually their claims division, and became a claims manager there. For about 8 years, I worked for them. We had our first child, we moved away to Ghana, Senegal, and Egypt, had my second one, and I was in and out of work. I had my bachelor's degree in marketing at the time, and while in and out of work, I pursued my MBA and got that. And around 2013, we came back to the US and I had a fellowship as a result of my master's program with HRSA. It's a federal agency, another US government agency. And I ended up in their communications and technical center, basically doing lots of technical writing, communications, training, etc., and fell into a project where they were implementing Salesforce for their help desk, and just wanted to learn all about it. Participated in UATs, wrote the help desk manual for that, and ended my fellowship. It was only a certain period of time, so I didn't see that project through to fruition, and got a position with a small company outside of Virginia, outside of the DC area. And they worked also in the federal government space, and they were implementing Salesforce for the National Institutes of Health, one of the divisions there. And I ended up on that team as a project coordinator and eventually customer relationship manager, but just wasn't working in the tool enough. So I decided I needed to learn the tool, because I'm one of those people who want to know how everything works before I can use it or feel like I can teach a customer about it. And I took some time off because we moved away then here to Barbados and joined Supermums, and the rest is history. So it was extremely challenging for a number of reasons. One, I'm a foreigner in a foreign country, and there's the push to hire country nationals, which I completely understand. Then people were not working remotely when we left the States as much in 2000 as we are now. So that was also a challenge, because finding a company initially who would do it was not easy. And in the government sector, it definitely wasn't easy because of IP addresses and security issues. So working was a challenge. One of the things in foreign service we do have, there are set-aside positions that they offer to spouses or other family members when they're abroad in a U.S. mission. They do set positions aside. However, with my skill set, I found it challenging to marry my skills with equitable pay. And that was the biggest challenge, because I had a lot of experience and I did pretty well prior to moving abroad and looking for work. But in those roles, the pay is subpar. And when you go back into the States, especially if you're going to work in a government-based career, they hire you at what's called your last previous rate. They base everything off of what you were previously making. And I couldn't put myself in a position where I would be making less in 2013 than I was when I left the US in 2000. I did work on contracts when they came up, but I was very careful about the type of contracts I chose for that reason. I was actually on a webinar for another event, and Heather was speaking. They brought her in and she spoke about the Supermom program. And I looked it up and I couldn't believe at the time how much it covered and the comprehensiveness of the training. But even at that initial point in time, I wasn't sure that I could afford it. So I kind of delayed it. And then I saw her speaking again in another organization. and I looked it up and I compared it. I had considered before going all the way with Salesforce Admin. I'm very interested in business analysis, that I would just do my BA certification with and go that route. And so she was speaking in that form as well. And I compared the cost of the two, and I looked at what each program offered, and I just felt Supermums was most comprehensive. So I ended up joining based off of me hearing her speak about the program and what it had to offer. So I was fearful that if I am of the amount of the cost of the course, that was definitely something that I put on the back burner, because I was like, that's a chunk of change to take out of our budget right now. When I decided to do it, I did sign up for both admin and consultancy because I thought they were complementary and would go together, and it was a good deal at the time. It was a discount. So yeah, price was an initial concern because I wanted to be able to recoup it. And then for me, I'm middle age, mid-career. I've had multiple times where I've been out of work, so I have several gaps in my resume. And I just wasn't sure about, if I pursue this, am I going to find work? Because even between my prior Salesforce experience and now, there was a 3-year gap. We moved to Barbados in 2019. I didn't finish this course until December. I started the course last fall and I just finished it in December. So when you look at that time, I was concerned that maybe I won't get anything. So that was just another fear, not being able to get work. Even with my prior experience, I had a little bit of self-doubt there.
Yeah.
That changed quickly though. The course was amazing. I did not realize how amazing it was going to be. I saw what it offered, but just in the terms of my training manager, she was excellent, and I still have a great relationship with her today. I consider her a mentor now. My cohort, we really came together and we bonded, so we got that support we needed to make it through the course, because it's not easy. Not saying that you have a hard professor or anyone grading you, but the amount of work in a 12-week period is a lot. And the deliverables weekly, when you are not, familiar with something, could be challenging. So that bond we formed helped me make it through. And I was fortunate enough to get into a great internship. I don't know if I could say with who, but that internship, I felt like I could go back into work again and I wouldn't have an issue finding work, because they gave us so much autonomy, even coming right out of a course, to make decisions, to design a Salesforce instance for a major client, and kind of nudge us along the way with the right level of support. So that's what changed for me. Having all of those aspects of support and the foundation of the course, how comprehensive it is. So when I took my admin exam, I didn't pass it the first time, and I realized we go through the course, but we do it fast. And when I went back and I paid attention to how those questions are at the end of each unit, and we go through them and we practice them, and thinking of how the material was laid out in conjunction with an exam, everything was there. And so when I went back and approached my studying from the point of using our course material, I saw the value I really saw the value in the course then. So interestingly, I am working as an independent for myself, because the internship for me resulted in them offering me, the ability to consult with them independently, because I think because of what they laid out in my work experience, I was able to bring in qualities from my own skill set combined with my Salesforce training that allowed them, to see value in me just as I did in them. I went to Texas training, and I was actually going to delay the entire job process because I have a lot going on. I'm moving back to the States this fall. My kids are here for the summer.
Yeah.
But I went to Texas dreaming, and I met people there, and it energized me to the point where I feel like maybe I can work now. And I met a Salesforce recruiter. He followed me back on LinkedIn, which I was surprised because, we met on the last day in like an icebreaker. And through his feed, I started applying for roles, and I got a few interviews. And when I reached out to the work experience for the company, I let them know, and they came back and they offered me a role. So the work experience for me has been a tremendous game changer, especially on the Salesforce side, because they trust me. The owner, she trusts me to make decisions and believe in me to the point that not only did she offer me the position, but she gave me a team lead role on another major implementation. So the work experience is a big game changer. So my title is Nonprofit Salesforce Consultant. We work in the nonprofit sphere, implementing Salesforce for nonprofit organizations. And my title for projects is the Technical Team Lead. The flexibility and autonomy. As I mentioned, we're foreign service, so every 4 years or so, 2 to 4 years, we're moving. And Salesforce has now afforded me the opportunity to take my role wherever I go. My current contract, since I'm an independent, allows me to work wherever I need to be. Because they implement for nonprofits, that security is still very, very important, but it's, not in a prior government consultancy role as I previously was, where, I needed to be US based for a number of reasons. So the flexibility, the autonomy to make decisions, and the trust, that's kind of been instilled in me to carry on a project, just really brand new out of the gate, are what I enjoy most. And because Salesforce's own footprint globally, and this new innovation with hiring people by time zone, I think it really opens up doors. So say I could pick up other work as I get more experience on my own, or I could work anywhere else in the future, be it with an organization, because of this initiative that they're pushing out. And so I like the innovativeness of the company as well. I think, the sky's the limit. And my personal philosophy about anything, and has been for a while, it is what you make it. And I feel like myself and anybody pursuing a role or career on the Salesforce path could definitely do that. There's so many opportunities within Salesforce, within implementing partners, integrations, so much out there that someone can do. And the community is inviting. If there's something you want to do and you can't figure it out, and you brainstorm with enough people, it can happen. So it's definitely what you make it out to be. Invest in yourself. Make the investment, learn the tool, and just go all in, because with Supermums and Salesforce together, it is what you make it. The sky is the limit in terms of your earnings potential, your career opportunities, anything. So if you're considering Supermom, you definitely have to do it. You get so much more from it than just a training course. You get coaching, you get continued personal development through many of the other avenues offered. Heather, I think, is very innovative in her own thinking, what she comes up with for mentoring women in general. And we have some dads too, so guys, don't be afraid either. Come on board. We accept everybody.